Hello, beautiful people of Earth. The Earth says hello. No, that's not the line. Hello, people of Earth. Something like this. Let me know if you are watching the live or the replay. I am super excited to be on. Where is my lovely lady? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm back from the airport. All right. Good job, Persis. High five. We're doing good, guys. We're doing good. What I mean by that is we're not doing good, but we're trying at least. I am cold, dude. I need some sakis. I do not feel good. I do not like being cold. How are we? Late night vibe. Persis don't do late night vibes. I'm used to seeing you in the morning. Yeah, exactly. Somebody was reading my mind there. I am not used to doing this in the evening. Evenings is like Persis relaxation time. It is like, it is not work time right now. But I am excited to be here. I have my girly coming on. Is everybody aware of the type of live we're doing this evening? So it's like a partial manifestation story. Hello, beautiful people coming on. Definitely share it with your friends if you'd like to. You know me, Persis is a girl of a lot of morals and ethics, in case that's not obvious. And in case nobody saw the former live success story, thank you for these beautiful compliments. I did a little bit of a warning in that success story because I really want individuals to understand that, like, I want you to have a really well-rounded understanding of how this whole manifestation process works. Because I just, I don't know. Maybe that's just how I was raised. That's just my thought process. I just like to look out for people, That's all I'm after here. And the last live success story, a woman had manifested marriage with her specific person. But unfortunately, didn't end so happily. And I just like to tell people, have hindsight about these different types of things. And our girly today, she is a partial success story, but she wanted to come on and maybe do half a success story now, half a success story later, because she felt like she had so much of a warning to give you guys. This woman is a woman who has had more than a dozen coaches in the past coach her. So glad you guys are here. Yes. Continue to come on, share with your friends, whatever, you want the vibe to be. We don't always see Persis in the evening, so take a picture. It's going to last longer. And yeah, she wanted to come on and give a warning because she has been through it in her manifestation community experience. She's had a lot of different coaches, and she also kind of wanted to do something to just look out for you guys, regarding this whole process and how it can sometimes be sticky and uncomfortable, and wanted to give you guys, I guess you could say this is more of a PSA plus a little partial self-concept success story. Okay. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I've got to go over there.
Okay. Hello, beautiful lady. Unfollow. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy you're here. So partial success story, self-concept, partial warning situation where she basically wants to come on and tell you guys when is it the best time to properly seek out help, because she has been on this thing she's been in the manifestation community for a long time. And she's had more than a dozen coaches, and she's here to kind of give you guys an understanding of how this process works. Can I do the level 2 course even though I didn't do the level 1? Yes. Not everybody needs to do self-concept. Not everybody needs to. I just like to give people an understanding of that. That's all. Not everybody needs self-concept. So yes, you can absolutely get the level 2 course, which is the obsession course. There's already some success coming in, and I'm obsessed with this success that's already happening. Yeah, I'm really, really enthused by it. And there's only one training that's happened so far. So now would be a really good time to join because there's only been one teaching so far. Only been one teaching. I just got a coaching call with your mama. I'm super excited. Love that. She just got another king and queen client this evening, and I think that woman was her last because now she's going overseas for 3 weeks. Manifested a piece of clothing. That's nice. It's the little things. Oh, that was you. Oh, hi. Okay, so you're Yvonne. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, people are booking, bro. People are like, screw this stuff. Here's my money. Help me manifest. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going? Okay, perfect. I think I can hear you, and I think everybody else can hear you, but let me know. We have a little success story, partial success story, partial PSA announcement kind of situation. Okay, everybody can hear us. Perfect. All right, so I have given a very small kind of introduction, oh boy, if I could only speak, introduction type of scenario. And I'm honestly just going to let you begin unless you would like me to give you some type of structure of just where you'd like to start. You know what I mean? Where would you like to start with this little live over here? As the people are ready, they're enthused, and they're ready to hear what we got to say.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's perfect. I think I just want to like sort of start off by giving a full-blown like disclaimer that like this is my personal experience, and not like everybody has to agree with me and like feel the same way, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And but I guess I think a good starting point would be the fact that like all the coaches that I like went through before like reaching you, and how I would have probably done it differently, because one of my goals of coming onto your life is to just be a little vulnerable, not in like a self-deprecating or self-critical sense, but more in the sense that I made these mistakes. Like, you guys, please don't do this, because it will just like make the process much harder.
Yeah. Do you want to give them a small disclaimer on just like I just said, in all honesty, is like an introductory, like this girlie has a little bit of a self-concept success story. She's been through about a dozen coaches, and she's just here to kind of prep you guys for, you know, like what really could be the best thing for you going forward should you feel like you're in these types of patterns where things aren't clicking or things aren't happening. That's what I told them. Now, if you feel like there needs to be any other disclaimer, go for it. Otherwise, I think you're ready to go also.
Yeah. I think that's perfect, process.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect. Thanks for that quick intro. So I would start by saying that I got into the manifestation community because of my breakup situation with my specific person, right? And it's not like I wasn't aware of manifestation. I was aware of it. I was not aware of law of assumption in particular. So I actually had read a lot about law of attraction, and like for years almost, but I never even like applied it consciously, right? But I think so I actively got into this community in September of 2022. And in hindsight, I wish I would have done it in September of 2021.
Okay.
Because I think for me, like I'm a very self-aware person, so I think almost a year and a half ago, which was September 2021, I did realize that something is off. Like, I constantly had this like intuition that I need to fix my, like, I used to call it like self-love. I was like, I need to like start like loving myself. I need to like start doing this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise I'm going to lose him. Otherwise, like something bad is about to happen. But now, like, after I've been in like the law of assumption for a bit, I'm realizing that like I actually, you know, because it was at the back of my head so much that something bad is about to happen, that it actually eventually happened.
Yeah.
So when I entered this community, I want people to know that, and I don't mean this in like a self-deprecating manner, but just a reality that I was at the rock bottom
Yeah.
of the rock bottom. Like, I just, like, there was no, and I was very desperate, very vulnerable. Like, if I go back to September, like my September self, like, I didn't even want to, I didn't want to, like, eat, drink, sleep. Like, I was like, I just want this right now. Like,
Yeah.
I want it in, like, the next hour, next 2 hours. So, naturally, I watched a lot of coaches on YouTube, and then I started signing up for coaching. One by one, and I went through 12 coaches before, like, finally reaching you. And I think two things here that I would want to, like, caution people about, and I can, like, get deeper into both of these aspects. The first one is, like, finding the right coach is almost like finding the right doctor. Especially in something like this, right? Because you're trusting someone with with literally, like, quite literally, like, changing you or, like, changing your beliefs. So, like, if you make a mistake there, like, your foundation can, like, go very wrong, which is what happened in my case, and then you will spend that much longer trying to, like, you know, unlearn whatever you have learned. And it will just it's not worth it, first of all. Second of all, maybe, like, you shouldn't, like, wait until the very last hour to go and get coaching or to go and get help, because I waited until the last hour of the last hour before I, like, reached out to you.
Yeah.
Because and like, I reached out to you on the morning of my birthday.
Yeah.
And that is after I had, like, on that day, like, I don't know if you remember our, like, first call, but I was, like, even at that point of time, like, I wasn't convinced. I was like that, no, like, you know, of course, this is not working for me. Like, I'm doing everything right. But in hindsight, on my birthday, like, the one thing that we're not supposed to do, like, check the 3D or, like, keep our assumptions in check. I had not done either of those things. Like, I instead, like, went out of my way. I called up my specific person and I asked him to wish me a happy birthday. I don't think it can, like, that's why I'm saying, like, I was, like, at the rock bottom of this, and in the hours, like, leading up to that, I had the worst assumptions of him, and he reflected that. So by the time I reached you, I was in a really bad state.
I still remember. I still remember that first call, and just to peek in for a minute, I got her email as I was sitting in a Buffalo Wild Wings with my parents on wing night. And I'm sitting on the table and I'm like, I see this, and it was titled even, I think, at that time, because now I also have it impressed in my subconscious mind, like emergency email or something like that. And I'm sitting at the table and I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me this is another client right now, because I am booked. I am booked and busy. And I'm like, oh my God, please don't tell me something like this. And I remember, like, sitting there and previewing the email, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for somebody's life to be imploding right now. I don't say that in a mean way, but in the sense I was already overextending myself in my personal packages to a point where, as terrible as it was to say, I had to, like, start to close my doors and make people wait a week, make people wait 2 weeks, make people wait 3 weeks, because I'm only one human. And because my modality of coaching is pretty unlimited, so to speak, like, everybody and their mother wants it, because naturally that's how people want to receive coaching, because they're not having success in, like, an email format or whatever it is that what people are doing. And I felt bad that I had to, like, turn some people away. I'm like, you know, I can take you, but you're going to have to wait a week. And some people are like, no, I need to do it right now. And I'm like, I'm only one person. So if you can't wait for me, I'm really sorry. Then you can just go somewhere else then. I don't know what else to do. Because otherwise I was literally working and taking 6 to 8 hours of phone calls on top of filming, on top of posting, on top of, after that, going through messaging. And it was just like, oh boy, I was, no. I could not.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally like get that, and I'm like I know I've mentioned this to you before, but I'm so grateful that you took me in as a client on top of like everybody else that you had, because I think I even in that email, I think my desperation would have like come through. I don't even have the original email with me. Probably it's probably somewhere in my inbox now, but I was like that, God, like please, 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 like just take me as a client. Like I'll do anything, like just I'll do anything. And the reason, like I'll tell you the video that like got my attention was when you it was that video on YouTube where you said that it cannot take like longer than 90 days to manifest.
Yeah.
And because at that point of time, I was like that, oh, that's great. Like I can count like 90 days from today.
Yeah.
I'll have him
Yeah.
in like 90 days from today. And like, that's it. That's all I have to do. And the reason that even got like, that was an interesting aspect for me. One was obviously the desperation that I had and the low and poor self-concept. But because some of the coaches had told me that it has taken you, like 13 years or 14 years to form these beliefs. It's going to take like that the same amount of time for you to like reform these beliefs. And it used to like panic the hell out of me, because I was like, well, if I count like I'm 25, so 13 years is like 38. Like I don't want to get married to this man at 38. I have nothing against it, but I'm like that I can't wait that long. Like what is going on, right? Like that's like almost like punishing myself for like not having the right beliefs. And the problem with someone saying that, like I don't even want to like fact check anybody on it, but the problem with anybody saying that is that in a situation when I'm like already feeling panicked, I'm going to like immediately feel even more guilty about creating this situation in the first place. The moment you say that to me, because it'll make me feel that I'm the reason now that I can't even get myself out of it.
And not only that, but like even the individuals and I know you're probably going to move into there, and maybe you could just tell them a line from that if you want to share it, of course, which is like, there were some coaches that were apparently running scamming schemes where they were referring their clients to psychics and apparently making money within.
And I've had those psychic calls. I'll be entirely like upfront, vulnerable and honest. Like one of the coaches referred me to this person, this lady in New York who apparently does like love spells. And I am not kidding when I say that it just, again, like I feel so stupid saying this, but I'm still going to say it so that like people don't like do any of this nonsense. Even if like one person walks out of this live with like the lesson, then like I would feel happy. But she referred me to this lady who does like love spells in New York. And I can't blame myself because I didn't know better, and like I was really desperate and I was crying all day long.
Yeah.
And I gave her close to like $4,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
Because every time, like it started with like a very small amount, right?
Yeah.
Like 350 or 400. She was like, oh no, there's a curse on him. Oh no, there's a curse on you. Oh no, like there's like a third party. Oh no, like this. Oh no, that. By the end of that, like 1 week, until I realized, I was like, but this is a scam. Like, this is a scam. Like, you need to get out of this. And, like, some sense, like, got knocked into me. I've had another coach refer me to a psychic. Mm-hmm. I've had calls with that psychic. The problem with all this is that, you know, the thing is, like, I don't know about everybody else, but I already entered this with a shit ton of like limiting beliefs. And now with everybody like just telling me all these like random things, like psychics telling me random things, tarot card readers telling me random things, and like the love spell person like telling me that there's a curse. Like imagine the number of like limiting beliefs I had by the time I reached you. And even when by the time I reached you, I could not even like, not only could I not trust the process,
she couldn't trust me also.
Like coaches.
Yeah.
I couldn't trust you. Like for the first like week or 10 days, I was like, I am not sure. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, is this just another person on the internet?
And I was like,
and it's
challenge accepted. I was like,
and I feel like I was probably like the most difficult client you've had, but like hats off to your patience, because I think I asked the same questions over and over and over and over again for close to like a month, where I would send you like lists of questions. Like,
yeah, you did. I tell some people take advantage of that package. That word unlimited, you guys see it and your eyes go like bing and you're like, oh my God. And yeah, I will be honest with you. It was a little bit overwhelming for sure, but my patience, I do have a lot of patience, and I just have a very strong sincerity and passion to help people. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah, and that is the one thing that I definitely want to tell people, like, who are watching this or are going to watch this, watch the replay, is that I think the key difference that I've seen between you and all the other coaches that I had, I think you take personal responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, you're, like, it feels like you, like, I don't, it doesn't feel like I'm just a sale for you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you understand that there's a human on the other side of this.
Yeah.
And, like, you, like, coach knowing that fact, and like,
I coach from the heart, for sure.
Yeah. And that creates a whole lot of difference. Like, that in itself, like, creates a whole lot of difference, because I was not feeling seen. I was not feeling heard. I was feeling like people are just out here, like, treating me or like using my, almost like my, like, desperation and vulnerability to their own benefit, which sucks.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like, you don't do any of it. Like, you don't do any of it. Like, I've gotten, like, the amount of money that I've invested, and I think I've, like, probably bought all of your products, including the coloring book, including, like, everything that is probably on your website. And I think what I've invested versus, like, what I've gotten in return, it's like 10x returns, right? Or more.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, like, you give away, like, everything, like, all the information. Like, I've never had you, like, tell me that, hey, Shrishti, like, I'll tell you this in the next call, or, like, I'll tell you this when you, like, renew this package. Like,
oh, yeah, and that was something they did to you in some points in time.
Yeah. I've had that where people were like that, if you take this other package, then we'll tell you that. But the thing is that, like, just give me the answer, because, like, I need it. And that's why, I think that's why your, like, unlimited, like, text style coaching or over, like, WhatsApp or whatever, it's helpful.
Yeah.
It's helpful because initially, like, if someone is like me, they're going to have, like, so many questions until they can finally get to the point where, for instance, I was like that, okay, I think I can trust the process.
Yeah.
I think I can start applying the work. And, like, and it took me a longer time to get there. It took me longer because I just had so much to unlearn. I probably spent, like, close to, like, 45 days. Like, we started, like, in October, like 28th October, and I think it was until, like, mid-December. Mid-December is when I was like that, okay, I think I've unlearned all the crap that I, like, somehow absorbed from
and the thing is, I think that's the problem, and it's part of the video I actually posted today, and I'd love to hear in the comments if you guys agree with it. Now, as someone who used to be in the law of attraction and law of assumption community, I feel like I relate with this story a lot, because I feel like I was tricked, but not necessarily by coaches, like how, unfortunately, like, this woman was extorted is what it sounds like. But I feel like I was taken advantage of in the sense that there would be individuals with just like these mass followings, and they would just be promoting all these false teachings. And unfortunately, because we come into this community very emotionally vulnerable, I feel like because that's our identity. Because think about manifestation. If you come into it, you don't really find it if your life is already perfect and thriving in every single way. You find it when you're at a rock bottom. You find it when, like my dad's girl, when she's on the brink of being evicted or being homeless, or you find it when the love of your life breaks up with you, or you find it when when something bad is happening, basically, which also means that we are very highly manipulatable by individuals that are in power positions. So I think it's very important to make sure the coach that you choose resonates with you. I've said it to you guys so often. If you don't like the way that I teach, please find somebody that resonates with you, because who you choose as a coach is going to set you up for success, or it's not going to set you up that way. And it's like you should choose someone that you really enjoy and appreciate their style of coaching, because that's who you're going to be dealing with, and that's who you're going to have to answer to, and they're going to have to answer back. So you got to make sure all those things are running on all cylinders, because there's a lot to take into consideration. Just because somebody has a really big following doesn't always mean that their coaching style is going to be something that resonates with you. And then once you pay the money, if you think they're going to change their coaching style for you, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
That never happens. I've coached with people who have a lot of subscribers on YouTube. They are probably the ones that are more known.
Yeah.
And it has been it has not gotten me anywhere. I've not even gotten any new knowledge from them, or any knowledge whatsoever. I didn't even feel like I was being given the attention that the basic level of attention that anybody should give to a client. And that was really bad. And it's the thing is here's my other aspect of it. I am guilty of it. So I'm not I don't blame people who are desperate and are watching these videos on loop that manifest a text instantly, manifest in 5 minutes, manifest in 10 hours, manifest in 20 minutes. It's fine, but the problem is and I'll speak from my experience with it. There are two problems with it. The first one is it's not sustainable. So
that is a good point.
Yeah. It's not sustainable at all. What are you going to do after manifesting that text?
That is so true. That actually puts you into more of a fight or flight, if anything at all. That's why that whisper technique and everything like that, when I see those videos, I'm like, oh my God, if I could have gotten that amount of following, oh my God.
I swear to God, because I've watched, because the thing is, let's take a step back, right? You are going to watch that video. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to implement that meditation from a state of desperation.
Right.
So what are you going to get after that?
True.
It's the chances of it working in the first place are very bleak, because in the first place you're not in the right state to get it. But even if it does, and this is a question that I have asked myself, and I've started telling myself, and I'm that I'm actually very grateful that this man did not show up in October or September or November or December, because with this impaired self-concept that I had at that point of time, I can guarantee you that I would have lost him again in 2 days tops. And we'll be back to square one, and that would be so much harder. But the second problem with that is first is obviously it's not sustainable. The second problem is that it's not the right mentality to approach this with, because that in itself is going to give you a limiting belief that you're going to have for the rest of your time, which is, I think, I know we had our coaching call yesterday, and I did a little bit of reflection afterwards where I was that what is the problem, right? Because one of the affirmations that I have now is that I have the perfect assumptions, so I can have it now. And why is that causing so much resistance? The reason is because in the past I've watched all these stupid videos which have made me believe that if I'm doing the video, I need to have it at like the 6th minute if it says 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is now like causing me to like have this like weird, limiting belief that if I say this, then something has to like literally zap through the sky.
Yeah, like right here and right now.
This man needs to has to be here. So
yeah,
this is the second problem. Like it's so, again, like you can't, I think the reason that people like don't take this idea seriously that you should be very careful when you choose a coach, because I bet you that if you were going through like a physical problem, right? If you were going through a medical problem, people take like first opinions, second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions. Like they don't like just go and like pick anybody with like the biggest following out there.
Yeah.
Right? Why do we don't do that? Or like we won't even go and watch YouTube. Like, would you watch a YouTube video on like how to cure yourself of like pneumonia or something? No, because like you will not be able to trust yourself. But for something that is equally important, which is your like mental and emotional well-being, like I think you should be, if not more, like at least the same level of careful about it.
No, I agree with you entirely. I know that we have one question. I haven't scrolled down yet, but one of the girlies wanted to ask, were the coaches that you're referring to law of assumption coaches or law of attraction?
Mostly law of assumption. I had one person, the first course that I worked with was law of attraction, and like that is just like I don't even want to like get into that, because it's like he was like that, no, but you have to align yourself to like the perfect frequency. I'm like, but is there a measurement? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, measure it with like a device on like what frequency I'm vibrating on right now? It's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so I'm scrolling down a little bit, and it's funny because I did not see any of these comments. I apologize. I'm such an overthinker, and your teachings have been the only thing that's made sense to me. Oh my goodness, that was so sweet. That was a compliment. Okay, that was not a question. It's important to find what works for you. Okay, so this was one of the questions, and I don't know if you feel comfortable, and I don't know if it's going to seem a little bit shady or not, but I do want to mention before, whatever coaches she's worked with, she made a very clear disclaimer in the very intro 30 seconds of her arriving that this is based on my experience, and it's not her assuming anything the worst, but it's like this is based on who she was with and how it happened. But one of the questions is, and you can obviously pass if you want to, is who should we stay away from though? Like, so then she essentially, I guess she's implying like name dropping. I don't know if that's going to be like deemed as being like, unattractive to do. I know some people in the past, they wanted me to name drop because I had a couple of coaches in my student days, and I was like, I don't know about that. It just, and I know where you guys are coming from.
This? I can talk about the ones that I like and resonate with.
Sure, if you want to do that.
Instead of like the ones that I like, I would hate to like name drop because it would look really.
No, I mean, and listen, we don't even have to go into the negative ones. Why don't we go to the next question even? We can go to, I thought it had to do with the amount of resistance and not the method and amount of time. So let me ask you, what do you think has helped you the most dissipate your resistance? Do you think it is that side of coaching where you just get to ask and ask and ask and get that reassurance? Or do you think it's more of the structure and the methodologies that you receive? Or do you think it's a mix of both? What is your honest opinion on that?
Right. I have a couple of points here. So the first one is 100% your style of coaching. Mm-hmm. 100%, because the idea that like I can spiral and like send you a message and like you'll give me a response to it or like reassure me in some manner, like that in itself is like, it's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when you hit the rock bottom, like, they say that the only way is up, but as I'm climbing up, like with your style of coaching, I almost know that there's a safety net.
Yeah.
So if I fall, like someone will catch me. I'll be fine. So that takes off a lot of pressure. And I think the structure as well. I think you keep your like the routines that you give to us. It's very simple. It's very easy to comprehend, easy to follow, and like it gives like there's no 10,000 things that you're 10,000 different things that you're preaching. It's basically just your manifestation equation, and it's customized. So the structure definitely helped a lot. And then I think with the resistance, in my personal experience, again, I've had the worst kind of spirals, and at the highest frequency possible, and I've definitely gotten better at it now. But honestly, sometimes you just have to, it's one of the things that you say that you have to run your race. I think going in with the idea that not judging yourself for those moments. Not judging yourself for having that resistance, because I judged myself so hard. I was that, oh my god, this is so pathetic. Why can't you do it right? Why? The thing is you have to be a little kind on yourself. And initially I was even of the view that, oh my god, if I don't follow this for one day, and if I spiral out of it, everything is going to go out of the window, and all my effort is going to go to a waste. My advice would be that if you're spiraling, just take a day off. It's fine.
It's not going to go anywhere at that point in time.
The thing is it's better to take a day off and pause where you are than try to fight it and go 10 steps back.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. One of the things I want to ask also, and we have another question here, and maybe if you want to move into your self-concept glow up and how that has been for you, because this is also part of the question here. It says, what is the best way that you've shifted your self-concept from being in lack and despair?
Right. I think the real shift for me honestly happened during your group coaching, the self-concept experience one. And before that, I would say that that started around mid-December, right? And as I mentioned before, up until that, I was doing a lot of unlearning and going back and forth. But I think your group coaching really helped me out.
Good.
Obviously, even with the personal coaching, the affirmations that you had given me, the subliminal that I used to play at night, and everything, that helped. But in the group coaching, you really dived deep into how this works and how it's going to shift. And you also did a bonus EFT tapping session for us, which was super helpful. It was so good. So I think it was definitely that. And I think with this, I also want people to know that all of your products are very different from each other. Because when I went into that group coaching, I thought that it's going to be pretty much same to what I've experienced in one-on-one, but that was not true. I think it was very different, and I'm glad that it was, right? Because you'd want it to be that way. You don't want to.
I try to tell people, all the time, different, everything is completely different, because there's no point in having two of the same product. Group coaching, they have their own perks and benefits of paying a fraction of the price for a ton of teaching material. But the caveat to that is they miss the personal element that personal coaching gets. The perks of personal coaching is you get me in your pocket for 3 weeks, 5 weeks, or 2 months. But if you're someone that wants just mainly a ton of education, that would be probably more your thing. And then there are some people that get both. I personally feel and please correct me if I'm wrong, this self-concept program that's getting ready to come to the tail end of a close in maybe 10 days or something like that. It's like a PhD level program, but in manifestation. And if you're a person that just needs education and you're Persis, talk to me, educate me for 7 hours, and then I'm going to do the work, that could very well be the solution to your whole program, or your whole progress and your whole program, because The number one thing that I personally still stand by, education is the key to success. It's so crazy how often I say that these days, because like my father told me that so much when I was a kid, and now I feel like I'm preaching it to other people. But education is the key to success. And think of you guys' background and experience, and I'm even going to reflect on my own. When I didn't have the education, I was piss poor in manifestation. But when I had the education, I really unlocked what it meant to be a powerful manifester and to manifest things almost instantly or within days or a week, because it's everything. It just has to do with your education. Once you have the education, then you can practice mastery. Then you can practice quantum leaping. Then you can practice like getting stuff fast and mastering that part of things. But if your foundation is broken, you don't have anywhere to go from a broken foundation, because you can do, as an example, the whisper method again and again and again.
That's not going to work.
But that's not going to help it.
Yeah, it's not going to, even if it works, like, I think, like, the other thing about group coaching, and then I have, like, one more point to make around this, is that, like, it helped because I felt even more seen, because I was able to see other people who were going through the same struggles, and sometimes that's all you need to know that you are not this, like, exceptional person on this planet who has been, like, handed this, like, life of misery, and like you won't be able to get, like, just, you know, it's like how we did in, like, school and college. Like, why do we have classrooms and why do we not have, like, one-on-one people teaching us? Because you, like, have that sense that, like, we're all in this together and we're all going to, you know, motivate each other to keep getting better at it and better at it. And, like, sometimes you learn from other people's experiences also, like, right? And that can only happen in, like, a group setting. It's a very, very good foundation. Like, there was, like, this, like, it's a shift. Like, it was, like, an internal shift that happened, I think, like, end of December, like, early Jan, which is why, like, I don't question when you say that, like, people can manifest in 30, 60, and 90 days, because I don't even want to count my 30, 60, and 90 days from, like, when I first met you, because I spent so much time just, like, going back and forth and, like, unearthing crap. And then the thing about the whisper technique and, like, instant, like this almost, I think, addiction with, like, getting things instantly, which I'm also guilty of still, and I keep telling myself this and reminding myself this in these moments, is, like, keep the big picture in mind.
Yeah.
Do you want a text from this person, or, like, do you want to get married to this person?
Yeah.
And let's say, like, you get a text now versus this person, like, proposes to you a month from now. Like, which one would you prefer?
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with this entirely. And I mean, that's the thing that I try to teach and preach, because I'm a very morals and ethics type of girl. And I want to make sure that although it may feel stimulating to your senses to get a text message now, if your real goal is marriage, I feel like, you know, in those types of instances, people are going down the wrong rabbit hole. And I know that at that point in time, there's probably nothing I can do to convince them otherwise. But I just feel like, for me personally, the beauty of this live is not only to talk about her healing of self-concept, which, you know, has come tremendously far. Like, even today, she sent me beautiful photos of herself out and about, dressed nicely, feeling good about herself, and, you know, the whole thing, you know, the whole shebang type of scenario. But we wanted to do half a success story now of really the importance of self-concept, especially from coming in a background where she's had 12 different coaches. Not all of them had a lot of high morals and integrity. And she wanted, and we both kind of wanted, not just she wanted, but I also kind of wanted her to come on and say that, you know what, I think that your story is inspiring even as it is right now, because there are so many people that have so many convoluted coaches in their background that have maybe messed with their mental headspace, and it takes time to unlearn that. And you could perhaps teach these individuals how to set themselves up for success, because I agree with everything she said. You don't want to wait for the 11th hour. You want to make sure that you actually have hope. Otherwise, you're going to spend your whole coaching package just getting hope, and then your coaching package is over. And if you don't have the funds or finances to continue, that's literally, unfortunately, as far as that coach can take you. And now you're on your own. That's not to say that that's not still worth it for some people, because having hope and faith in their scenario is huge. But for individuals that may have had just like that amount of money to spend on coaching, I personally think like the beauty of her story is the fact that her self-concept and her concept regarding her person have exponentially climbed tremendously. And even though she's not at her end right now, being in a partial manifestation success story, this is what I want you guys to focus on. Like, and if you would like to speak on it also, definitely please do. Like, she is like, I'm not even worried right now about him. I'm not even worried about when or where or how he's going to show up. I feel confident within myself. She's even gotten like Venmo requests and things like that with his name. Yeah. She's seeing it everywhere. And it's like she knows it's coming in. But it took her a long time to get there. One, because she had so much to unlearn. Two, because she's been burnt in the past. And three, because it really was something that she waited until the 11th hour to conquer. And so she spent a big part of her package just even gaining hope and just even gaining faith.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like it's that like aspect of like big picture thing, because I know there are like overthinkers like me who are like desperate, and I feel you. Like wholeheartedly, like there's a part of me that still feels you, because there is a part of me inside me which still is like that, why can't I have it in the next minute? But with the big picture thing, like this is another shift that happened when I was coaching with you. And I'm not even like, I can't even remember like which coaching call it was, but like somewhere around in November, like I remember right after a coaching call, I was like that, what am I doing? Like, why am I trying to manifest a text from this person if I want to get married to him?
Yeah.
Because what is this going to look like? I manifest one text, then another, then a call. Then like that's so much more draining. Like that's just coming from like a place of like almost not trusting the person, like really trying to micromanage it.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing. The other aspect about time, like I'll tell you when like time really, like, because I think Persis can like speak to this. I think I am that one client who was and probably still is like hell bent on like this idea of time, that like, why can't I have it right now?
Yeah.
Last week, you taught me how to do the quantum leap meditation, right?
Yeah.
And I did the meditation, and I have an engineering degree, so for me, like, part of me is like that none of this, like, of this like sounds like very like wishy-washy, like pseudoscience kind of thing. But I did the meditation. The meditation, I was like doing it with like white noise in the background. The white noise video was supposed to be like 15 to 17 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
When I woke up, every single clock in my house, including my electronic devices, had somehow moved forward by 186 minutes.
I knew you were going to say something like that. Like that.
And I was like, okay. And it was weird because I wouldn't even have realized it because I was very deep into the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I figured it out was because I knew that the length of the video is not the same by how much like the clocks have skipped time. Like I literally had to like Google what time it is to like reset all the clocks. That is the point.
Yeah.
When I realized that actually like time doesn't even matter because it's malleable.
Yeah.
Like if it can skip like that, and I'm not going to even call it a coincidence because it didn't happen in like one like random place, right? Like one clock just like decides to not work. It happened and I was like, okay, this is like, I need to let go of this idea and like be so attached. And the third aspect like about like that really soothed me and like still soothes me about time is that Yeah, I get it. Like, so much time has passed, like, even in my scenario. But the thing is, like, think about, like, when I think about, like, actually just having him in front of me, what is this going to look like? Like, all of this time that has passed will literally collapse, right? It wouldn't even matter at that point of time whether it was like 6 days or 6 months. Like,
really
I'm not
doesn't
saying
matter.
it's going to take 6 months, but like,
No, I know what
it's
you mean.
just to like soothe yourself that like it will be like the moment you have it, it will be fine. Like, this won't matter.
How much do you think your self-concept has improved since we've worked together? What would you rate it in the beginning and what would you rate it now? You're going to say like negative 50.
I think I was about to say that. I was like that. I know you have a 0 to 10 scale, but I would rate mine like negative something, because like 0 is when you're like really bad. Like, negative is when you're not even willing to like understand the importance of it.
I know.
Which like I
know.
like I just wasn't. I was like that. I think we're wasting. Like, I remember for the first week you told me that like we need to work on your self-concept. Once you get 8 or higher on this, we'll work on the specific person aspect of it. And I was like, okay, we're going to waste time for a week. Waste a whole week.
She goes, we're gonna waste time. Oh my god.
I was like, this is like, I don't know why she's not like understanding. Like,
I'm not understanding, guys.
This right now.
Yeah, I'm not understanding it. That's hysterical.
It was so weird. It was so weird, like, because I was like that, okay, I guess I'll have to like work on it. And I remember sitting with the self-concept affirmations the first day. And I was like, this is such a waste of time. Like, why am I doing this right now? Like, I'm looking so stupid. Like, I'm not even focusing on my goal.
No way.
Like, I genuinely tried very hard to like go that route of like not doing self-concept. And I was convinced of the fact that it's fine, I'll just work on my self-concept after this person is here. Which would never happen, because like once you manifest that person from an impaired self-concept, which people can, like I'm fully like capable in like everybody's abilities to do that, you will never work on yourself.
You'll never work on it. If you don't work on it now, you're not going to work on it later. You're going to continue to work on him or her or whoever.
Yeah, because you will like that will just reiterate that like negative feedback loop. So I didn't, until I realized, like when I still had like empty hands to show, like, you know, the thing is, to be entirely honest, I got tired of myself. And
yeah.
There was this one live you did.
She goes,
I think
we're going to waste time.
Like,
Persis is wasting my time.
Of that, you want the pity party award.
Oh yeah, I did that live. I went in on you guys in that live, for sure.
That live was so good. Like, I like don't know which live it was, but like I would want people to like go and watch that one. But
I know.
It just like blew my mind. I think it opened my mind, and I was like, do I want to like, are we done here? Like, I remember standing in front of the mirror. I live alone in my apartment, so I can do this nonsense all day long. But I remember standing in front of the mirror. I was like, are we done? Like, are we done?
Is it done now? Are we finished?
Way of working, like, are we ready to like move forward? Can we like drop this like nonsense? That's actually when I started working on my self-concept, because I was genuinely tired of my own shit. Like, I was tired of like being in my own way of like doing things, and I'm glad I worked on my self-concept, because I went from that, oh my god, if this man doesn't show up in my life, like I want to die. Like, I was like, I remember actually like very desperately on my birthday before our call, praying to God that God, like, either take away my life or give me this man. Like, just take it away. Like, imagine like how impaired you have to be in your self-concept that on your birthday, you're asking God that, like, I am not thankful for anything that you've given me or this life. I just want this person.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I know I even mentioned on the call that, like, I had this fleeting thought a couple of days ago where I was like that, you know, honestly, like, at this point, he should just feel lucky that I still want him back.
Yeah, that was hilarious. She sent that to me. She's like, he should be lucky that I even want him. He should be lucky to even breathe my air at this point. And I was like, self-concept for the win. Self-concept for the win.
You know, and you know, sometimes like the old story crops up, and like I think even yesterday, like, I think I really, like, frustrated you during my coaching call because I said the same thing over and over again for like 40 minutes straight. But I think what I've understood after all these months of like working with you in like one-on-one and group settings is that I should just follow your advice and what you're saying.
In Persis, we trust.
The very first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the first time. Like, I should not try to like DIY it. I like try to do it myself because it doesn't work. Like, it's not like it's just not going to like give me the right kind of results. And like sometimes the old story pops up and like all of that happens, and that's normal. Like, it's going to happen. But now I've reached a stage where I'm like that, focus. Like, we just need to focus. It's
yeah.
fine.
And I think, I mean, at the end of the day, and I'm just saying this as like a funny, okay? Like DIY, that's not what we want to do, especially not when you're paying money for a program, for a professional to tell you exactly what to do. Like we've got to follow like P's advice. We're not DIYing this. We're not buying like, stuff from Michael's, and we're not, paper and stringing things together. No. We're getting this sent out, and we're going to get it custom made, and this is how it's going to work, and this is how it's going to happen, because that's like, and that's just like a disservice to you only, because the whole perk of personal coaching is like, here's my problems, figure out my solution, and then Persis puts her head down, looks at all the variables that are going on here, what parts of you are bleeding, and what do I need to tend to first to get you more physically, mentally, emotionally stable. Persis goes to work, and this is also going to answer somebody else's question, which she asked, what is her routine? Her routine is the same as majority of individuals personal coaching program. So in a personal in a personal coaching program, everybody gets a heaping load of instructions that is just standard across the board to explain them how this package goes, what's in it, what to expect from it, responses, and the whole 9 yards. But what's technically part of her routine is like a set of affirmations. I'm not talking about 4. I'm talking about like 14 to 18 minimum. Not only that, but she gets my brain correction exercise. That is a private personal coaching exercise only.
So good. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that exercise is a lifesaver.
Yeah, that is my like goated exercise, my greatest of all time exercise, where I created with a little bit of my psych background while I was in college at UCF. I created a brain correction exercise based on my knowledge of psychology to help combat intrusive thoughts. And when my personal clients use this, they see their intrusive thoughts dissipate by probably about half, even within like 2 to 3 days. It's very quick that the correction begins to happen. They get a subliminal customized to their situation, like whatever they have going on. And I mean, yeah, they just get a lot of personal guidance also above and beyond. I feel like I'm missing other things, but mainly her, she also has like some mirror work that she does. That's part of her routine. So mirror work, affirmations, brain correction exercise, subliminal, that's all part of her routine. And then the other half of her question, which is going to be for you, how did you recognize the shift within you? Like when did it come? Like, or how did it come about? Like, when can people expect to recognize that shift?
That's a good question. I think for me, like even before recognizing that shift, I think in the days like leading up to that, I remember like telling myself that like I have to stop saying that this is like, unscientific and this is delusional and this is illogical, this doesn't work, because the problem is that is the nature of manifestation, right? That is the nature of it. You either take it or you leave it. Like I had to tell myself that like I have entered this knowing fully like what the nature of this process is. So I can't sit here and then question it and complain and whine about it that like I don't like the way that it's like slated out.
Yeah.
I think the shift really happened for me, when I don't know how to put it, but I was just happy. And I think it happened again like yesterday as well. But I was just happy, like happy for no reason. And like, I wasn't like worried, and I wasn't like constantly anxious. Like, I wanted to have my 3 meals a day. I slept well. And like, I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, it will work. The problem is that I think, and that was the problem with me, because I think I spent a month trying to ask you that, like, but what is the science behind it? Like, how is this going to work out? How is this like going to come about? And like, I think one of these, I think it's like a quote from like Dr. Joe Dispenza, or like, I don't remember who the quote is from, but correct me on it. But I think he said something along the lines of that if we wait for permission from science to try something that has not been tried before, then we are turning science into another dogma or doctrine, because science itself is not perfect.
That sounds like a Persis quote, but no, I'm just kidding. But no, that's, that literally sounds exactly like probably maybe Dispenza. I know that I've said part of that quote before, so maybe even I was quoting Dispenza. I don't know where that quote came from, because I speak about it all the time. Like, if you want that type of result, you don't need to like wait for permission, because at the end of the day, think about it. Even if I take one of you guys from the crowd and I answer all your questions, all of them again and again and again and again, and you present me questions 1 through 20, then you go 20 through 40, then you go 40 through 60. At what point in time?
I did that. I did the same thing. I asked all the questions for a month. And I could like keep going for more. I think at some point, I think you told me, you were like that. I think we have all the information that we need. To like move forward in this journey, because like otherwise you'll just keep going. I think I also reminded myself at some point, I'm like that. Am I doing a PhD in manifestation here, or like am I here to like get results?
Yeah, because at what point in time is it going to be enough for you to just start actually doing the work? Because every day, and it's not that I don't want you to use your package in that way, but every day we keep being focused on questions and say, if I just know this, then I can do it. If I just know this, then I can do it. You're also delaying getting to the finish line by an extra day, extra week, extra month, because if we're still stuck in these questions, it means we're not really moving. We're not really putting one foot in front of the other. And so your delay is going to end up continuing to be pushed out and continue to be pushed out. Think of it this way. And I created a voice memo for one of my clients today where she was like, what do you do when you're stuck in maybe an intermission period of lack of movement in the 3D? Because she's like, I feel really confident when I ask you question after question after question, but my problem is like, I can only maintain confidence for a couple of days before I start to overthink. And then I feel like I need to ask you questions again and again to get reassurance. And I told her, and I was like, it's all about refocusing and recentering back to, do I want results? Or do I want like more excuses? Because I can have heads or I can have tails, but I can't have both. And it's like when
I think that's something you told me too.
Yeah.
You're like that, you're starting to like find more and more problems.
Yeah.
Because like I think this was like 2 weeks ago or something, where you told me that like you need to like stop looking for problems, and you need to tell yourself that like this is the last like thing that I'm fixing. And after this, I'm like, I don't need to fix anything.
Yeah. This is the last thing. And that's what you guys also have to make in your mind, is like, this is the last thing that you're going to focus on. And this is going to be the missing puzzle piece. It's funny because even a personal client of mine, I know we're talking about a lot of different things here, but a lot of good stuff is coming to the brain. Another client of mine, I don't know if she's a king and queen also, if she was a consult, but I know it was the first call, whether that was just a consult or a coaching package, I can't remember. No, it was a king and queen, just kidding. And she goes, I said an affirmation before I came onto this call. Do you want to know what it is? And I was like, okay, cool. So she goes, because I've never had a call start that way. She goes, I affirmed into the mirror that Persis is going to give me the missing puzzle piece to my manifestation, and I'm going to be on her live. And I was like, I feel like that should be everybody's affirmation. I was like, you just may have even given me an idea. I'm going to put this in everybody's coaching plan. Because think about it. Some people will always search for something else to fix. And that also permanently delays getting results because it's like, okay, I feel like I have a bad relationship with me and his friends. Let me fix that. Then I have an issue with me and his mom. Let me fix that. I have an issue with me and the best friend. Let me fix that. It's like you're constantly looking for problems to continue to fix.
Yeah, that was me. I think
Love
even
this
like
conversation.
going back into the the shift like question, right? Like I'm just like this thought like came into my head that I actually like I knew when I had shifted, when I think I realized, and this was very recent, when I realized I was like, the thing is that this dream marriage that I want, this dream relationship that I want, my dream life that I want, I'm going to get it no matter what. I'm either going to get it with him or someone better than him.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, it's just, and that's not to say that, like, I can't have what I want, but the thing is that that's when I knew that I have truly shifted because I'm not no longer attaching, like, my future happiness to the idea of him showing up.
Exactly.
It can only happen if he shows up. If he doesn't show up, like, I can't have it. Like, that's when I realized, I was like that, okay, I think something has changed.
That is the law of detachment right there. If you ever wanted an explanation on the law of detachment, that is it. Think about what this woman spoke of before. And I don't even want to repeat it, but she was like on her birthday crying. I remember I took her call on her birthday. I prioritized an emergency, took it. And she was sobbing from the beginning. She's like, hi, Persis. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what's happening right now. And it was bad. It was bad in the beginning, but I will say one thing, like she went from being in a scenario where she's like on her birthday sobbing and being like, God, like either you give me this man or either you take me, to a point where she's like, whether he comes back or whether he doesn't, I'm getting my dream wedding anyway. I don't really care the body of the man. I'm getting what I want.
Like at this point, like it's fine. Like I asked myself, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I just need to, like, I have these, like, I think this is the only perk I have right now that, like, I live alone.
Yeah.
So I can have these, like, continuous conversations with myself out loud. But I asked myself, I was like, do I have a problem with someone better showing up?
Oops.
Like, is that big of a deal? Like, that's such a huge issue. And I had to, like, again, I still want my specific person. So it's not to say that him anymore, but the thing is that I'm happy that I don't have this level of almost like not even attachment, like almost as if he's some kind of like, you know, God or like deity, and like I have to like worship him. And this is good because like now I know that it's fine. Like I can have whoever I want, like not just him. I can have whoever I want.
Yeah. And that's the beauty. If anybody wants to know what the law of detachment is, it's not to say that she's out here not getting her person, because he's everywhere and it's like she sees it so much. But at the end of the day, one of the things I will point out is like, it's one thing to want something. It's one thing to be in a scenario where you place your entire reason for being as this person. And it's like this Disney Pixar-esque movie where I am his reason for existing. She is my reason for existing. And it's like this big telenovela dramatization, Bollywood film where it's just like so hyper exaggerated. I would die for you. No, I would die for you. And it's just like, no, that's not healthy. That's not the type of love we want. And that's also something huge we have to unlearn is we've been taught, or at least I've been taught definitely by those movies, that I've got to be the damsel in distress, that I've got to be impaired or hurt, and a man has to come and fix me. I have to be saved.
The idea that like you have to be saved.
Absolutely.
Like it's so ingrained that I think like I had this like mentality. This was like many years ago that if I don't have a problem in my life, nobody is going to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Like I almost, and that is such a bad thought, because the thing is, like, it'll keep manifesting, right? Like you'll continuously
Absolutely.
create problems in your life because you have this idea that, like, if I don't have it, then nobody is going to ever, like, even pay any kind of, you know, attention or, like, look after me. And weirdly enough, like, yesterday, like, after, you know, after our coaching call, and like after I realized this, and I was like, that, okay, you know, I'm going to have whatever I want either way. Weirdly enough, I went to bed. I suddenly woke up at like around 2:33 a.m. and I had this like urge to like write.
Yeah.
This is very weird. And I'm writing, and I like wrote it down on my laptop in my notes, and I was half asleep, so half of the spellings like don't even make sense. But I was trying to, it's weird because it didn't feel like it's my thoughts. I was writing about how my specific person is starting to have this realization and why he's coming back now.
Yeah.
And like I was having, like, I wrote things like that, no, she's worth fighting for. And like my fear of losing her forever is like far greater than my fear of triggering her. Like I don't even care if she gets triggered. Like these cannot be like purely my thoughts. So I was like, there's something shifting. I just need to hold this.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
other thing I think you said to me in like a voice memo was really great, where you were like, don't quit like right before the blessing.
Oh yeah. That would be something that I said. I think of that because sometimes my people, and I love them tremendously, they will get discouraged because their mind is an unkind place, especially in the beginning. And if you guys have any more questions for her, definitely keep asking them or let me know if there's any more. I know we're probably having more conversational type of success story, but definitely let me know, because I definitely want to try to wrap this up, let her, get on with her evening, and me probably, get ready a little bit for bed and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super, super excited about that. Oh my gosh, now I kind of forgot where my train of thought was going. What was I saying, my love?
I told you that like don't quit right before the blessing.
Yes. I think of like that little graphic. I don't know if everybody's seen it on the internet, where there's this old tired man and he's mining away for diamonds, and there's a split in it, almost like a comic strip. And it's like in the top, he's like hacking away at it, and he gives up right before the blessing happens. And the version of the comic strip at the bottom, which is the exact same one, is he takes that one extra swing and he continues to show up for himself, even though it's hard, even though he saw no proof, even though he's seen no evidence, even though like he's doubting and questioning, is there even diamonds in this mine? At all. I said mind for a second. That goes to show how tired I am. In this mine, are there even diamonds down here? Like, hello, is there anything out here type of situation? And he just struck that one more time, and he finally got the blessing that he was after. And I feel like that is a really good parallel for manifestation, because sometimes you guys come on here and it's literally, you're struggling with not seeing movement. You're struggling with this. You're struggling with that. Remember, external movement comes from internal movement. You need to become the master of internal movement. You should have a name tag that is like, I am the internal movement master, because once you feel that shift internally, and I know a lot of people are like, but how do I know? How do I know? It as vague as it may sound when we talk about it, it is literally just something that you just wake up one day and it's like, you're like, I'm confident about this all of a sudden. Like, why did I even cry yesterday? I'm not even sure. I actually feel like this could work, like this could happen. And that's when you have to start to use that momentum. And you start to be like, yeah, well, obviously I feel this way. My affirmations always work. My affirmations work so fast. I am a master manifester. I am an instant manifester. It's the easiest thing in the world for me to get this, desire of mine. The more I want something, the quicker it shows up in my reality. And these are all things that I talk about even in the blueprint. but it's just like something that you eventually feel within self when those balancing scales start to shift. So I talked about this in the obsession training, where it's like we want to get your negative thoughts, which are the heavier justice scale, and we want to switch it and make your positive thoughts the heavier justice scale.
Yeah. It's also like this frustration, right? And I know that even yesterday, I know I even told you, I was like, I'm so frustrated because I say this, but it's not here. I say this, it's not here. And yesterday evening, I asked myself, I was like, that I think I'm doing this with a very, I don't know how to describe, all or nothing thinking. When it's not supposed to be that. I asked myself, I was like, that from a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is that I'm absolutely not with this person, I'm never going to be with him, to 100 being that I'm married to him, I'm going to have a good life with him. Where do I, how far do I think I have come? How close do I think I am to that 100? And I told myself, I was like, I think I'm between an 80 and an 85.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's too close to give up.
Yeah, it's too close to give up.
It's that's too close to give up. That means that you're right there. If you just hold it a little bit longer, you might actually just reach that 100. So I think that all or nothing thinking really doesn't help. Especially, it didn't help me in my journey for sure for so many days where I was like that I'm a 0 if he doesn't shows up, and a 100 if he shows up, and that's binary. There's nothing in between. But there are things in between. I don't know, again, I think you're right. It's very difficult to describe that shift, but one day you're finally not going to it's not going to create a physical anxiety attack in your body.
Yeah. It's not going to create a physical anxiety attack in your body. You're going to start to feel more optimistic. You're going to start to feel actually maybe even a lesser need for the opposite party. And that's nothing to be scared about. And that's nothing to be worried about, because actually, and that was, I think, a question even you had. That's what healthy love is. It was never supposed to be, I will die for you. No, I will die for you kind of situation. It was never supposed to be that. Your entire reason for existing on this earth is not another person. And if you're still in the frame of mind where you think that, you may be too preliminary in that fight or flight reaction for this work to even resonate with you. Because I am not going to promote that type of mentality, because that is a very unhealthy, codependent type of relationship, even taking manifestation out of it. You should never want your whole reason and happiness and purpose to be another person. That's like basically giving the remote to your brain, to your thoughts, to your feelings, to another person, and saying that depending on what you give me or don't give me, here's the remote, and you can control my feelings, you can control my mental space, you can control my body, you can control my heart, you can control my spiritual sense, and based on the crumbs you give or don't give, based on the actions you do or don't do, based on the communication you give or you don't give, based on the hot and cold that is there or not there, you're going to control how I feel. You're going to control my physical reaction in the body, because it's going to elicit a physical reaction of anxiety spike every single time, and it's going to disturb your mental and emotional health. If you're there, you're not ready for this work. Because you got to get that out of your body, because that was never how love was supposed to be. And if you think of that dynamic, it is literally terrifying. Why would you want to, with the knowledge you have, voluntarily say, you control how I feel? I want you to control how I feel. That's what love is. Pardon?
And I did that. I did that for so many years. I cannot imagine myself doing that again. I remember also asking you about this, that I think a part of me is terrified to actually have him back now, because I feel I'm going to get controlled again, controlled, not because he wants to control me, but because I will give it up. And I think you like reassured me because and that was like right, because you were like, Vedanta, unless you're going to throw this knowledge out of the
Yeah,
window,
unless you plan on
like,
throwing the knowledge out, yeah.
And I think like the other thing that has helped me is like I've really stopped like going out to look for evidence. Like I know that like I think up till like mid-December, like this weird thing that I was doing was that I would very sneakily like go like quickly look at like someone's Instagram, like either his Instagram or his friend's Instagram, to do what? Like if I'm looking for like something in particular, then I'm going to see it. That's just how the law works. I'm just not using it to my advantage, and then I'll see it and I would spiral more, and then I'll be like, see, it's not working for me, except that it is working for me. It actually is working for me, like in a very weird, like
in a twisted way, it's working because it's like it's fulfilling all the bad stuff.
Evidence because I'm wanting to get disappointed. I'm going out there to get disappointed, and I'm like, whatever I see, I am going to get disappointed and hurt, and then I am getting disappointed and hurt, and I stopped doing that. I was like, no. Like there are moments during the day when I'm like, that should I just go and check his Facebook? And I tell myself, I'm like, no, there's no need.
Yeah.
There's no need.
There's no need. When you know you're safe and confident, if you know you're safe and confident within yourself and you know it here, all this stuff changes. And I know it sounds like so backwards. We've been taught so much that if we want something, we have to go after it. And that alludes to what she said before, which I think is hysterical because I actually have never heard her say that, which is like in the beginning of the package when I told her we're going to do self-concept for a bit of time before we start working on specific person. And it was hilarious for people who may have not been here at that point in time. So she's like, Persis is basically going to waste my time for a week. That's awesome. You know what I mean? And it's hilarious to me because I never even knew that. But like, it's funny because that's literally what solves 99% of problems. And I remember her, she would come back with like 10 new questions, but how is working on self-concept going to help? And I would go back and I would explain it again very nicely and very like politely that, well, this is exactly how this is going to help. Until we get here, it makes no sense for you to go to phase 2. There's no point in going in phase 2. Think of self-concept as elementary school and middle school as being specific person, or high school as being specific person. You have to pass elementary school, you have to pass middle school to get to high school. And it's like, some people are like, we just want to go to high school. And it's like, well, you don't even know your ABCs or your 1, 2, 3s. You don't know how to write or fully form sentences, like to use that as the analogy, but you want to go to high school. Well, even if you go to high school and even if we put you there, you're not going to last. You're going to have to go back through the entire process.
It's not sustainable. I think in hindsight, like that's the other like mistake I made. I delayed self-concept work and it like wasn't worth it. Like, I'll just put it that way. It wasn't worth it because, like, a very simple example, right? Like, I can keep on affirming that, like, SP wants me. Like, he wants to be with me. He wants to get married to me. But I think internally, if I, like, earlier, like, if I was not even feeling like that I deserve it or I'm worthy of it or I can actually have it, then no matter, like, I said that affirmation for, like, 5 days straight or 6 days straight, like, no matter how many times you say, like your mind is not going to believe it because it doesn't even believe that you can like forget having this with him. It doesn't even believe that you can have it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I totally agree. Love this so much. Okay, so tell me, is there any other last minute things you'd like to give the people as a piece of advice, maybe take home motivation, inspiration, anything like that? Tell me, what would you like to end this little live on? And if you guys have any last minute things, tell me.
Yeah, I think from my side, like I would just end this by saying that, like, don't be harsh on yourself. It's like in itself, like this, the very fact that you've signed up for this process, like you're very courageous, and that's something to be like very proud of because there are so many people out there who just like accept whatever the fate is of their life as is, and they are not even willing to like do something to change it. So this means that you're already courageous, and like it's not for the faint-hearted. like, it is not for the faint-hearted. You have to be that, like, brazen and courageous, and, like, you have to keep saying that, like, I don't accept this result, and allow yourself to almost, like, solidify in that belief. And, like, I'm also in that, like, journey right now. Like, I'm not even, like, fully there yet, but it's, and, like, just don't wait until the last hour to, like, ask for help, because at that point, like, you've lost all hope.
Yeah.
And as, like, Persis mentioned, like, it's going to, like, it's so much harder to, like, build back hope.
It is so much harder to build back hope.
It's very hard, especially when, like, everything around you is, like,
crumbling.
To, like, shit.
Yeah.
It's, like, it's going to be, like, so much harder. So don't wait, and, like, be very careful about, like, picking a coach, because, again, like, you don't want to end up in a scenario like me. Like,
yeah.
And please stay away. Like, one thing, like, that I want to tell people, I know it, like, comes down to belief, and again, this is my personal experience, but please stay away from, like, tarot card readings.
Yeah.
Whether personal or on YouTube, because, like, the thing is, like, I've literally seen them change after my self-concept changed. And the problem is that they can get very addictive. And I used to watch one after the other. The problem is you're going to keep watching until you get the answer that you want.
Yeah, that's true.
And
whether that answer is good or bad.
Yeah, it's like like, it's not a good use of time. Like, I don't even, like, even if you don't want to, like, put in, like, work directly for your manifestation during that time, like, just do something, like, that would make you feel better. Like, go out, like, do something, just, like, stay away from, like, tarot card readings, because I've spent so much, like, wasted so much time, like, watching these videos. Like, my YouTube still, like, the algorithm has gotten, like, it has completely screwed the YouTube algorithm on my account, because it still keeps, like, giving me suggestions of, like, tarot card readings.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want this.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And also, even as someone who formerly learned how to read tarot in the law of attraction community, because I was in also a state of fight or flight at one point in time when I had different pillars of my life kind of fall apart. I literally learned how to read tarot because I was a broke college student, and I was like, I can't pay readers, so I'm just going to buy a deck and teach myself. And I would give readings that were exquisite. And people would come back to me again and again and again and again, and everything I predicted was true. It's ironic because I guess Scorpios apparently have, like, some type of psychic sense. I don't know how much it's true. I don't really believe in that.
Scorpio as well.
Yeah. But I will say that the cards change based on your subconscious mind, because all the cards are doing, which I didn't know at the time when I had picked up the, I guess you could say, skill of reading tarot, is the cards project the person's subconscious mind. So if you're really skilled at reading the cards, basically what you're skilled at is reading the person's subconscious mind. That's how psychics or tarot card readers are capable of predicting outside parties, good things, bad things, and everything in between, is because the cards have particular meanings in certain positions, or, inverted or anything like that. And if you have the skill to read the reading, you have the skill to read what's actually in that person's deep-seated mind. And depending on what is actually in your deep-seated mind, which, if you think about the identity of a person going to get a tarot reading, it's nothing good. Because if you're going out there and searching for something, you're probably doing it from a place of lack. You're probably doing it because you're worried about something, or you're skeptical, and you just need the answer that she's not talking to someone else. You just need the answer that he's, not out and about or dating other people, or whatever your issue is. You're going to end up finding exactly what you're the most fearful of. Exactly what you're the most fearful of.
Like, you'll always find what you're looking for.
You'll always find
it.
Like,
whatever it is that you're looking for. Like, I think, like, the way I stopped myself, like, I broke the cycle, was I just, like, this one day, like, I wrote a list of questions that I would look for in tarot card readings, and I wrote down the answers for that. And like anytime I would want to like go see a reading or like go meet a reader, I would literally like read the answers over and over again. I was like, I already have the answers. Like, what is this person going to tell me? Like, this person doesn't even know anything about my life so far. So like, I definitely have like more credibility in answering these questions. I'm giving myself the answers.
That is hysterical. There's been so many funny parts to this live. I think it's going to be really interesting for the people on YouTube that watch it back, because this was like the most conversational live, chill evening talk ever. Definitely a different vibe than everything else. But a lot of hopefully really amazing tips. I see you guys definitely validating that in the comment section, that hopefully all these like impromptu tips that have come to us off the top of our head is like going to be really helpful for you to set you up for success. And that's all that we want to do, is like Persis is always looking out for things as well from like a morale standpoint, like a morals and ethics standpoint of, I want you guys to be happy for the long run and to maintain and have permanent results. And I feel like it's morally and ethically wrong to give you these tiny little, like techniques to get a text message. But in all reality, Persis knows what you want. You want like a full-blown committed relationship, which is why a lot of my products come from the mentality of focusing on big ticket items, because I want you guys to actually stay focused on what is the goal. And I hope that just people see that type of morale and ethics that I'm leading with, so that hopefully they can even subconsciously follow suit. Because the more you chase small ticket items, the more that you're going to stay in the lower level game. I'm trying to get you to elevate yourself to the next level, because it's really not a text that you're after. You're after, having a ring on your finger. You're after, losing 100 pounds. You're after feeling confident in your body. You're after healing your body. Like you're after bigger things than just getting a text message from a person. And that's just all I got to say about it.
I personally feel like I'll just add to this, and this is again like just my personal opinion. So, but I think your products and your services are underpriced, and I'm just going to say it as it is, because like people are pricing like 5 emails for like higher than that or the same price.
Yeah.
So. Whereas I think like I can't even like, I honestly at this point, like if I have to like find my first message to you, I'll have to scroll really a lot, because that's the amount of like conversation.
It's been hundreds of messages, hundreds of messages.
Like, if not like more, like it's a lot. Like so with that, like, and the level of like personal care and like commitment that you offer, like I think everything is pretty underpriced. And I think I love all your products. I'm not sure if I said that already. I love the offline products, the online products, the group coaching, like all of
She's one of the girlies that is in like all of it. She's like, I just love your programs. Like whatever you get, I'm sold, because I know it's going to be so good. You mentioned one thing to me also, which was like the obsession program and self-concept, like how everything is very different.
Oh, it's very different. Both of them are very different. We had the first training for the obsession program. I think day before yesterday, right? So
yeah.
It's different, and like you learn something new everywhere, and like it's the same thing. Like the journal is very different from the blueprint. Everything is completely different. Like I was just about to say that, like yesterday I was like, that I was thinking to myself, I was like, I know that I'm going to get this manifestation, but soon-ish. But I'm like, I still want to like keep working with her, so I need to find another goal.
That's funny. Yeah.
like it's a lifestyle. I think that's the more important thing. Like you're investing in like a way of life, like not a means to an end.
Yeah, you're definitely investing in changing the rest of your life. Like I will be honest, and these are a couple last. I know we keep saying finishing points, but even she saved her team. Like she works for a particular very big company. She works for a very big company, and she was supposed to get laid off. Their team was the first one that was supposed to be predicted to go because they were the most disposable and all these other things. Although she came into my world for SP, she has reaped benefits like crazy. Like she has helped protect her job. She's done so much for herself. And not only that, but as I'm sure you can hear now, her self-concept going from let's pretend it's a 0 and not a -50 all the way to like a 9, or I feel like it's even getting close to a 10. There's so much internal radiance that just emits from her. And it's just so wonderful. And that's really the goal, is like, you shouldn't want to also get to a point where you just get your person and then you're like, but now can you validate me now? But like, where are you going? What are you doing? How are things going to be from here on out? Prove to me that you love me. But are you just saying this to get something out of me? That's not manifestation.
Yeah, it's going to always keep your body in a fight or flight response, and you don't want that. It's like, it's obviously not mentally or emotionally healthy. It's not physically healthy either.
Yeah.
Like at some point or the other, like your physical health will like sort of catch up to it. And I think the only reason that I don't have like my specific person now, and like I was able to like manifest everything, because like up until yesterday I had this like belief where, and I'm working on it, where I was like that I can manifest everything except him. Like everything can work, like, but it won't work with him. So I'm like working on that now.
Yeah.
So it's a way of life. Like
yeah.
You just like learn how to like live differently, and it's a better way of life than having to constantly worry that like what is the next, like when is the next shoe going to drop kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you entirely. And at the end of the day, I don't even think I have anything to add. I just agree with you entirely. We need to stop micromanaging our manifestations. We need to make sure that we are consuming the appropriate content by creators that we enjoy and appreciate, and we want to adopt their type of thinking, because our brain is very impressionable when we're just on our phone scrolling, and it doesn't take much of any time for those fears or doubts to get into your head. And, be careful. Focus on the end goal, focus on the bigger picture, focus on emotional, mental, physical stability first and foremost, because the relationship you have with yourself is going to be key for the relationship you eventually have with your person or whatever it may be that you're after. And you just got to have big girl mindset. Persis is out here trying to teach you how to put your big boy pants on and your big girl panties on and think from up here. It's not just about getting it if you lose it. What was the point of it then? You have to have a growth mindset. Open up your head and try to get this fight or flightiness out of you, because you are the prize in every instance. And that will never stop being the case, even with this person in front of you. It should never falter. It should never falter. And you may falter a little bit, but you've got to have that mindset of, I need to master this to be able to have it for longevity, because longevity is the key here, unless I later decide I don't want it. Then longevity may not be the key. But if you wanted to keep it, put your big girl panties on, put your big boy pants on, and think like Persis. What would Persis do in this situation? Maybe that's a way to look at it. What would Persis do in this situation? Because
put that on a poster and put that on a sticky note and like put it across my apartment.
Yeah. What would Persis do? What would she do? What would she tell you?
Yeah. It's like it needs to be everywhere. I think like if anybody is like still not convinced about the self-concept part of this, Like, I'll share a very quick example, which I think I also shared with you in our very first call. In August, I actually did manifest a change in him, like in 10 days. Like, from an impaired self-concept, he went from saying that, like, I want to become a monk, to saying that, like, oh, I don't even know, like, I don't think that's important to me. I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be happy. I want to do these things. But here's the problem. The moment he said that, I asked him, like, physically asked him, I was like that, but why? What are your reasons? Because I was so much in disbelief that someone can actually do that for me and say that for me. And I was constantly in, like, disbelief that, like, oh, why is he doing this? I lost him in 4 days.
Yeah.
4 days. It's like 4 days it took from him to, like, say that I really, really want this, to I'm never going to, like, talk to you again.
Yeah.
Like, I never want this. And, like, that also goes to show, like, how quickly, like, things can change, which is a reminder I've been giving myself since yesterday, that, like, if that can happen in 4 days, then this can happen in 4 days too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, literally, because as soon as it comes in, as quick as it'll go out. Literally, I think that's the main key here. And I want to teach you, and I see this again and again, and I'm not trying to burn your ears with it. I know it's probably going to be impressed in your subconscious mind. I just want to teach from a morals and ethics place. This is not about just getting something to check something off a piece of paper, especially not with how you're looking at it. You're looking at it as, this is my for lifer. This is my husband. This is my wife. So it's wrong for me to sit here and be like, yeah, whatever. When you get them, yeah, you'll figure it out. Like, I want to make sure that you have the knowledge that sets you up for the rest of your life. And that's why people love my stuff, I think. That's just why I think they appreciate that type of integrity and that level of morale. But I will let you guys go and have a great rest of your evening. We've been on here for a hot minute now, so YouTube is going to have a hoot with this live success story. And we will be back again for round 2 when we have our second half of our story to share. So I'm excited about this entire process. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions or issues, everything is in the link in my bio. Journal, coaching, the whole 9 yards. Right now, mom and dad are fully booked, so their calendars are closed. You just got me to work with now. So if you guys are wanting something for Valentine's Day or for whatever time of the year, you know where to find me. You know exactly where to find me. All right. And we've got plenty of resources for you to have that success. A lot of classes are coming up. I know the manifestation equation is coming up next Saturday. Self-concept is still there should you need it. Obsession course is currently happening right now. Lots of fun programs are happening to help you guys get from point A to point B. That's all. That's all we're out here trying to do. All right. So I will let you go, my love. You have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will talk to you very soon.
You too, Persis. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
I hope people liked it.
Yes, I know that they definitely have enjoyed it a lot.
Awesome.